You can see this dead larch here, a couple of others scattered through the meadow. Those have probably been dead for, who knows, maybe even decades. It's such a hard wood and weather resistant wood, rot resistant, that it takes a long time to rot. So it's a good one for foundation for the sauna, foundation logs, and maybe even the footings. And for the cabin behind you here, behind the camera, that's where the cabin's going to go. So the bottom course or two, going to try to make out of larch, if I can find long enough, tall enough, straight enough logs. That would be ideal, and then everything softer will go from there up, where there's not going to be much splash from the roof overhangs, water hitting the ground, or snow blowing up against the sides. Even breaking a branch off one of these dead larches is hard because it's just that dense. So they're heavy as a result as well. this one is dead. I'm not sure. Still good enough condition to use it. Let's see. Definitely starting to rot on the outside, so we'll see. Still, I'll be able to use it for something, but I won't know until I debark it whether this wood is sound enough to use it as a log, or if we're going to have to just mill some lumber out of it. Either way, it's useful for now. Either way, it is useful. Nice and straight too, but it's going to fall down and it's too close to the cabin. I wouldn't even be able to leave it, even if I wasn't using it. Too dangerous. Look what I found. I don't know if you've seen that video where I talk about this forest and how it doesn't look like it was, well, it looked like it was fairly even aged in sections of the forest. And my guess, after speaking to an 80-year-old hunter who's hunted here since he was a teenager, so 65 years, he recalls back then, 65 years ago, that when they came through here to get to their hunt camp on the public land, the crown land that's near here, he said it was all young trees, almost right to the ground, like just really young short trees, like a clear cut. And I wondered if that happened, that would have been, so what, that would have been in the early mid-50s. So anyway, I assumed it had been clear cut back in the 1800s and then again in the mid-1900s. But this might be the answer actually to what happened in the last 55 years or 65 years or 70, probably 75 years, if he said the trees were just starting to grow up. This is a stump that's burned out. And I found another one Where was that? Somewhere here as well. So it looks like a fire came through this area. And that's these conifer areas, this boreal forest section, are prone to that. You get flames going through and lighting the resin in the trees and the needles especially. It can either burn along the ground or it can get into the treetops and burn, or burn everything. So that's a pretty big stump, and then these trees grew out of it. And I saw two more here that were like that, where the trees, the next generation of trees were growing up through that stump. So the trees like this grew up out of the stump where there was nutrients from the fire, all that carbon burning. And then also the seeds that would have been here or fell here afterwards that sprouted with the new sunlight and nutrients that they had available. So that's interesting. Same as the other trees. I can't get a good count because I'd have to cut it cleaner. But it looks like, again, it's in the 85-year-old range, which is consistent with everything else I've been discovering here in this forest. So I guess there was a fire that went through here 90 or 80 years ago or something, and everything slowly rejuvenated, reforested. I'm not taking many down this size. This is, oh, it's interesting. I guess they're all the same age. But I don't really want to take many down this size because I mostly need the smaller diameter, like 12 to 14, 16 maybe inches is what I'm looking for at the base. So what I'll end up doing with this size log is taking the first 10 feet and cutting that into floorboards and roof boards, which is actually good. I'll need to take fewer trees down if I take them down this size. That's the only benefit to that, I guess. Plus it allows all these smaller ones to start growing faster. Now that they have more sunlight and less competition at the forest level, or at the ground level, soil level. Anyway, these three trees just right here alone are going to provide, I think, probably all of the lumber that I need. As well as getting a section of straight log for the log walls. Oh, I just love it in this forest though. Day like today, just amazing to spend it out here. It's just above, or just below freezing. Yeah, it's windy, so it feels a little bit colder than that in the wind. But then you get in the sun where the cabin's going to be, just through the trees here. That sun beating in there, and it's sheltered from the wind. It's really warm. Well, really comfortable. Anyway, I'm going to take a few more down. The only problem with this temperature, this snow is so granular. Like that's just like granule, like powder. So the traction, there's no traction for the snowmobile. I actually need it to freeze up again. So what I think I'll do is get the snowshoes and pat down a path up to each of the trees, and then come back another day, delimb them, cut them to length, and with the trail frozen back, you know, solid and more compacted, then I'll be able to get over that with the snowmobile and pull them. Hopefully, I've never pulled a log this size. I pulled some for the sauna. I don't know if you remember the roof, the long beams in the roof of the sauna. They were what, balsam fir, I think, and they were still fresh. I hauled them right out of the bush back behind the cabin. And the snowmobile pulled them pretty well with that cone, or no, with that sled on the front. Anyway, I've got that skidding cone, that yellow skidding cone, so I'll pull them out with that, hopefully, and if not, then I'll have to come back in the spring and do it with the four-wheeler. In the meantime, I'll want to probably keep the branches on the bottom so that they stay elevated off the ground, so that in the spring it's not absorbing moisture. gonna do it. I think if the trail conditions were better, I think it would pull it. It's just that I'm digging in so much there. I don't smell the belt slipping much. Anyway, I'll pull the smaller ones out and then wait for this trail to freeze up. Maybe late, well, I think 5-6 days from now the temperature drops again. Like sand instead of snow. So it's not packed at all. That's the problem. Need some cold weather. It's supposed to get warmer weather, like above freezing tomorrow, which will soften this, so it should pack a little bit. And then some snow, and then some cold weather on top of that, or after that. So hopefully that freezes the trails better. I need to get back in further to get the rest of the logs. Getting there though. I know I said January 10th was ideal, but I only got maybe half of them cut. So I've been picking away at it. Now I need probably 2 more days to get everything I need for the cabin. And then I've got to look through my sauna logs, make sure I have enough of those. I think I have enough. It's just I have to design something based on the smaller diameter logs that I have already. Stuff I got last year.